Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Boxing. I'm Leti.
I'm LB.
And let's get into this fight.
Let's get it.
So let's jump into it. This weekend we had Oleksandr Usyk out of Ukraine versus Anthony Joshua out of the UK.
Yeah.
And congratulations to Usyk getting the victory, the split decision for the fight, defending his title against Joshua.
Winning the rematch.
So I'm gonna get right into it. I think Usyk most definitely did enough for him to get the victory. At some point, it was going a little bit of a close fight, but I feel that Usyk just kind of took off.
Yeah, definitely.
When Usyk just at the beginning when he was walking out to go towards the ring. We looked at him and I was like, oh shit, he's ready. Just the look in his eyes, walking out was just that he wasn't just doing it for himself, but he had, doing it for his whole country.
Yeah, we've been knowing this whole time that's who he was doing it for. But in that moment, you could just feel like, man, no, he's ready. He's ready, like you said, to put on a show and get this dub for his family and for his family and for his country.
Yeah, and I mean, it was hella cool that he, one of the things that he made sure was that everybody in the Ukraine got to watch the fight for free. Yeah. So that was hella cool to hear from him. But not to take nothing away from Joshua, because Joshua, you had also mentioned that when he was walking out the ring, he looked ready as well.
Yeah, when he was in the tunnel, I even texted one of my boys. I'm like, man, this looks like the most confident we've seen Anthony Joshua. And when he was getting ready, I was like, okay, he looked hyped. He looked focused, and he looked in the zone. And even when the fight first started, you could tell in his face, he was like, man, he is locked in. He was laser focused, and we haven't seen him look like that, in his face. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, like you say, he was just eyeing Usyk out, And he had some success in the first few rounds. He was using levels and just looking for good punches. He started, letting go a little bit more of the hands and, getting to the body. He had great shots to the body in Usyk.
Yeah.
And I think it was round 9 that he was kind of almost Usyk.
Oh yeah. In round 9, that was probably his best round. And the rounds before that, those couple rounds before that, he was looking like he started gas, and then all of a sudden, in that 9th round, he came alive again. And to kind of talk about it, in the early parts of the fight, probably the first 3 rounds, I think we gave Anthony Joshua, and we he looked. You could definitely see a new Joshua. I mean, one of the things, he just looked completely more fluid and not as robotic as he normally looks. That was good to see. And like you said, he was changing levels. His upper body movement was good. You could tell. I almost felt like, man, he was probably studying Mike Tyson. He had that Mike Tyson movement. Robert Garcia had him probably doing some stuff like that.
And we had said, though, he did one of the moves like the Chisora did.
Yeah.
Try to...
Yeah, a little hold. A little hold to keep swinging.
It was going, he did some adjustments, not enough.
Yeah.
And I think maybe, like you had said in the other video, he didn't have enough time with Robert Garcia. But I think Robert Garcia, for the amount of time that he had with him, Joshua definitely improved from his last fight.
Definitely. You could tell that he improved. I mean, I will even say this is the most conditioning that I've seen him in. And we didn't look at the punch stats, but I bet he threw more punches in this fight than he threw in other fights as well. I mean, I feel like there wasn't enough, props given to Robert Garcia. That's probably because it was a UK
event,
broadcast, the zone, and he wasn't using a UK trainer. But yeah, this was, he looked the best, the most fluid, and it looked like they came with a good game plan. But yeah, like I said in the previous video, it just wasn't enough time. And you can even see that in the Wilder fight too. We kind of talked about it, Wilder looked good in the first 3 rounds, but they haven't been training like that before, and so it's going to take longer than 1 or 2 camps to really let those changes pay off.
Yeah, just to bring it up again, how I said Usyk won by a split decision. What do you think about that?
Man, hell no. Hey, that was trash. And we'll probably get into this a little later, but the scorecard is pretty much all the way around.
All weekend.
This past weekend have been trash. But yeah, it definitely wasn't a split decision. That was ridiculous. Usyk clearly won that fight. Joshua had his wins early in the fight. He probably had the first 3, but outside of that in that ninth round, Usyk pretty much dominated the fight.
Yeah, so that was trash. Yeah. That was just I don't know what the judges were on Saturday, but their judging was like you say, it was just not good.
Yeah, every network.
And that's some bullshit because these fighters they give them the respect. You know what I mean? Yes, they both work their asses off to get into the ring, for the preparation. But damn, do your scorecards right.
If you looked online, I mean, everyone was talking about how awful that split decision was. Because, and you're almost taking that away from Usyk. Like, this is his second unanimous decision, and, that's trash.
Yeah, that was trash. Usyk got the fucking movement, man. Like, he was, as simple using the ring like he needed to, and he heard Joshua also that it was almost like, oh shit, is Joshua gonna go down, I forgot, it was like one of the rounds towards the end that he was, I don't even know how Joshua got through that round by not even, taking a knee or whatever, but, Usyk got to him too, broke him down a little bit. I did want to see Anthony Joshua use more combinations, but hilarious. I think at the end, he was like, when he came back and he started talking, he was like, a lot of people want me to throw more combinations. I felt like he was talking to myself.
He was like, what is it? They throw combinations like Monsignor, why does he do that? He goes, because I'm 16 stones, that's why. But he did it,
and I don't know what it's like to be that big,
But to kind of go over that, I mean, if you watch the fight, one fighter was going like this, and the other one just ended up going like this, and that's the thing that we said, Usyk, he gonna be ready from round 1 to 12, and so, like I said, Anthony Joshua's gonna have to come in and be a whole new, pretty much a whole different fighter, and Usyk was gonna be right at home, the pace didn't get to him because he's been fighting like this his whole life. The fast pace, the angles gave him problem, and he was winning that matchup, the foot matchup of getting on the outside and throwing that left hand, that nasty left hand he was throwing.
Yeah.
So
shout out, it was a very exciting fight to watch. Yeah. Even just the build up to it towards the last day, so we were just like, oh, we can't wait to see it. It was cool that it was kind of early in the day also. That was.
We still had the other fights too, so that was good.
Yeah, but I mean. And then at the end, Joshua gave a lot of props to Usyk, but he went on a little rant of, I'm sure you guys seen that. And, at the press conference also, do you want to get into that?
I'll say
post-press conference.
The post-fight, this is that is exactly what you want. I guess a lot of people are like, kind of shocked, but I was looking at this like, oh, okay, the human side is coming out. People got to remember, Anthony Joshua is a human being.
Yeah.
This man just went into, pretty much, hibernation, did everything he could, was live, eating and shitting, boxing, and getting ready for this fight, So, he let it all, and so he was emotional, and especially after, going 12 rounds, the adrenaline is high. Yeah. I remember being interviewed after basketball games or just people are asking me about it, and it's like, your thoughts aren't all the way there, and so, I think it was just a combination of all of that,
all the hard work. And he lost the fight. Your friends were thinking, coming in really thinking he was going to win, but.
Yeah. And Joshua, he came with a good game plan. It was just, I just don't think that he had, the amount of time to really, implement it in the fight. But, in the previous videos that we did, I was saying like, oh, I want to see him throw more of the left hook. That left hook to the body was working.
Yeah. Yes,
that left hook to the body was working. I'm like, yes, that's what I was asking for. I was waiting for that. And, it was keeping, and that's what kind of made the fight more interesting because, it made Usyk uncomfortable at times, but, he didn't have the, the stamina to keep it up. But, it was definitely a good game plan. But, man, Usyk, that man is a problem.
Oh my God, he is so skilled. He is such a skillful fighter. And I'm a tune in for sure. Every fight with Usyk, and Loma was there too. Shout out to Loma, representing the Ukraine. And it was a cool fight. Okay, and with that being said, let's get into who you want to see him fight next.
You know what? I think the only fight that needs to be made is him and Tyson Fury for undisputed. That's the fight that I think should happen. A lot. We've all been waiting for undisputed at the heavyweight division since Wilder and Joshua had all the belts. So I think that would be good to just cap off that division, And Tyson Fury, he responded in a video saying he's not retiring. So I think that needs to be the fight.
Well,
what do you think about that fight?
I mean, I would love to see that, but damn, that's gonna be a tough fight, you know?
Oh, definitely.
But just real quick, Usyk did say also, like, pretty much if he ain't fighting Fury, he ain't fighting.
Yeah, so
he's undisputed.
And I love that. I love that energy. He's putting the pressure on these promoters and stuff to make the fight. And yeah, I think that's a good fight. It's gonna be battle of the skills.
Yeah. He's so much bigger though, Fury.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's gonna be, so we're gonna see Usyk. It's gonna be interesting to see Usyk, cut the distance. But man, these two have been, grown up boxing since they were little. So it's gonna be interesting to watch, their skills go at it and to see, who's the best.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure Usyk wants to be, undisputed at cruiserweight now, undisputed at heavyweight. So what a fucking resume if you can get that, you know? So that for sure is gonna be a crazy ass fight.
Yeah. Now, I still want Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. You see what we got? Even though it's not for these titles, this is still a huge fight that everyone wants to see. They messed it up for the fans before, not doing it when they had the belts when everyone wanted it. So it's only right, that they both get in the ring now. We saw them in their last fights. Both of them made a lot of improvements in their boxing style. So to see them evolve as a fighter and get better as a fighter, I would love to see them. I think they're better fighters now, and so I think it will make for an even better fight.
And it's like they're both are coming off, trying to get their belts back, from like both coming from losses.
Yeah.
Damn, that shit will be crazy.
Right?
Crazy. Because Deontay had 3 fights, tied 1, lost 2.
Yeah.
So lost twice, just like Joshua lost twice to Usyk. Yeah. So damn, that shit would be explosive.
That'll be explosive. You know what? So those two, and I mean when you look at that, that's the top 4 in the division.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the top 4 in the division. So they might as well just all square up and let's go.
And I see Wilder, going around and doing his little conferences and showing his face back in the ring. Yeah. So I'm happy to see him back.
Yeah. So he's got a fight. Yeah, Wilder got a fight coming up. And the other thing that's kind of interesting about that is, prior to Anthony Joshua getting this fight with Usyk, they had sent an offer out to Deontay Wilder. Mm-hmm. They sent an offer out to Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder responded after the fight was over. He goes, "Yeah, they tried to, get me in there as insurance because they knew they weren't going to win the fight. So, they tried to get him at that high price, since Joshua hadn't lost yet. But so, you know what? If you really want that fight and that wasn't for show, line it up and let's get Joshua. Jeez. Let's get Wilder versus Joshua, and then let's also get Usyk versus Fury. Let's get it." But that's all we got. So thanks for tuning in, y'all.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Or talk your shit. And we out.